Hey guys, I'm Dr. Horshig, and today I'm gonna give you my best tip for an awesome squat.
Get up and get down, get up and get.
All right guys, so you get to the gym and you're doing some squats and you need some help. Well, here's one of my favorite tips. Now, let's start off by looking at the feet. All right, now when you look at your feet, are they collapsed over? Are they really, really wide? Let's talk about what is a great tip to understand how you should be your feet. So if we stand back up, whenever we squat, we want to create external rotation torque, and that's at the hip. Now think about it like this. Your feet and your hips have a direct connection with each other. If your feet collapse in, what happens to your hips? Your knees and your hips just collapse in as well. But if your feet roll on the outside, your hips open up, your knees go out to the side. So we need to find the parallel between the two to create a very strong squat. Now, I'm gonna put this barbell on the ground for a second. Let's talk about it. If we zoom into the hip, we find that the hip socket, your femur sits right inside, like a ball in socket joint. Now, you have a lot of muscles that surround the outside of your hip. One of them is very important, called your glute medius. Now, this muscle, most people, when they talk about the glute medius, they think, well, this muscle kicks out to the side. Well, while it does have that capability, its main purpose is to create stability at the hip joint to limit excessive or unwanted motion of the knee rotating in and the pelvis dropping to the side. Now, if we think about this in terms of the squat, whenever you squat down, we need our knees to track with our feet and our feet to be in a stable position. So your glute medius has the job, whenever you squat, of keeping that hip and lower body in direct alignment. Now, think about it like this. When most people squat, their knees are straight forward, and they're just gonna go down just like this. Now, if those glutes aren't turned on very well, specifically the glute medius, see how easy it is for those knees to come in? Have a friend squat straight down, and then see if they can keep their knees in line if you push their knees in like this. It's very easy for the knees to be pushed in. But if you create external rotation torque by jamming your feet into the ground, jam your big toes down, drive your knees out to the side. Now, only so much to where the feet still stay firmly planted. You drive the knees too far out, what happens to the feet? They roll on the side. So it's grab the ground with your feet, big toes jammed down, create an arch in the foot. We have balanced pressure between the heel, the base of the first toe, the base of the fifth toe, all grabbing the ground. We have a balanced foot. We're driving the knees out to the side. Now, when you do that just alone, you feel your hips turn on. That is external rotation torque. That is a turning force. Now, this is different than external rotation movement. Now, here's the difference. Watch my feet again. If I externally rotate my hips, I move my hips. This is external rotation movement of the hips. I don't want movement, I want torque. Think about it like this. If I turn a spring and I compress it, I'm creating a lot of tension for it to then unwind. So by turning the knees out to the side slightly, keeping my feet planted, I'm creating spring-like tension at my hips. From here, everything's nice and tight, and then I go down into my squat. I can feel my lateral hips being turned on the entire time. Now again, a lot of coaches will try to get this cue by just saying knees out to the side. Now, while that's not a bad cue if your knees are collapsing in, it's not a great cue for many people because we're not creating that entire connection between feet, knees, and hips. Instead, think about screw your feet into the ground. Grab the ground with your feet. Screw them in by driving the knees out to the side, turning on the hips. If you're doing this correctly, you're gonna feel those glute muscles turning on, and then squat all the way down. This is gonna open those hips and give you a very strong squat. Now, here's the way if you want to really prime this to warm your body up at the gym. You're just gonna go and you're gonna get a hip circle. This is from Mark Bell and the guys at Slingshot. Put this around your knees. Missed that first time. Right here. Get into your squat position. Drive your knees out to the side. Jam your big toes down. Grab the ground with your feet. Hips back. We're creating that external rotation torque because we have to keep constant tension on the band the entire time. Slowly squat all the way down. If you're doing this correctly, you're gonna really feel your glutes turn on and then back up. Do that a few times and I promise you, when you do that motion of creating external rotation torque during your squat, you are gonna perform that much better than if you did not. That is the #1 tip for getting under the barbell. Create that external rotation torque. It's gonna take you a long way when it comes to your squat performance. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it and you can take that and apply it into your training. If you did enjoy the video, please subscribe to my channel and like and comment on the video. Until next week, guys, if you have an idea for something that you'd like to learn about in next week's video, please comment and let me know in the comment section below. Until then, guys, happy squatting.
They say that energy flows where attention goes, so I pay no mind. Why waste my time with all these negative cats scratching? So caught up in their egos, these people have lost.